Hi, I'm Anton Roundy. Today you're going to discover how to use an RSS feed reader to save mountains of time and/or become a power tweeter on Twitter. This video is for people who aren't using an RSS feed reader, people whose feed reader isn't awesome. Most feed readers don't work nearly as well as they should, which is probably why so many people still don't use them. And finally, this video is for people who want to build a loyal Twitter following by tweeting lots of useful information but don't want to deal with the drudgery that's usually required to be a power tweeter. What does that have to do with RSS feed readers? I'll show you in a few minutes. Before we dive into the meat of this video, let's make sure we all know what an RSS feed reader is. It's a program that subscribes to data streams from websites like blogs and news sites so that you don't have to visit the website to see what's new on it. They typically check each RSS feed they're subscribed to about once an hour, so you can use them to keep tabs on lots of different websites all in one central location. To subscribe to a website's RSS feed, first you need to know the address of the feed. You'll usually find it in one of two ways. You can look for an RSS icon on the website and click it. These days most people use an icon that looks something like the one on the right. The second way to find the RSS feed is that on a lot of websites you'll find the RSS icon on the right side of the address bar. Clicking it will take you to the feed. Once you've clicked on one of those icons and loaded the feed, you can copy its address from your browser's address bar and paste it into your feed reader. This is my RSS feed reader, Lobster. There are other feed readers that can do some or maybe even all of what I'm about to show you, but since this is the one I use, I'll use it to demonstrate. And by the way, I'm not going to try to sneak this past you. I created Lobster and it's not free, but I think you'll agree by the time we're done that what it'll do for you is worth what it costs. And if not, I'll recommend a few other feed readers that can do most of what you're going to see here. One of the big flaws with a lot of feed readers is that they make you do this. Okay, we check this feed, nothing new. In this feed, we've got one new thing. You can see that because it's in bold and it's got a dot next to it. This feed, nothing new. Nothing new here. You're getting the idea. As you can see, this isn't a whole lot better than using web browser bookmarks to check a bunch of websites. A good feed reader will let you view just the new items from all of your subscriptions in one big list so that you can quickly scan and read just the ones you're interested in. For example, I could look through here and say, okay, WordPress 3.0 is out. I'll upgrade when I get around to it. How to build a Twitter strategy for your business. Let's click that and take a look. Okay, sure, it looks interesting. Let's check it for later. We'll save it. We can scroll down and quickly scan through it and find all the stories that we're interested in. Another thing a good feed reader will let you do is, as I showed you here, save things for later reading. So let's check a few things. Self-replicating creatures spawned in a game. Ooh, okay. Study shows monkeys like watching TV. Stephen Colbert joins the battle over the word tweet. What's this Michael Fortin saying? If I hover over here, I can see it all in a little tooltip. 4 steps to finding your ideal writing voice. Why Intel wants to network your clothes dryer. Double dip profits. Sure, who wouldn't want to make a quick 5,000? And we'll check a few more. Top 7 tips to make real money with Amazon Associates. Dilbert comic. And that'll about do it. Now that we've got a bunch of items flagged, if we check the check mark here, you'll see that they all come up in a list. One thing I like about Lobster is that it lets you pull up all the flagged items or just the flagged items from a single folder or even a single feed. It'll even let you do a text search within whatever group of feeds you're viewing, whether it's flagged items, all feeds, a folder, or a single feed. You can search just the headlines or the content, or both. And let me show you how that works. Okay, I have no flagged items in that feed. Oh, okay, here we go. If we check on marketing, there we see. Search flagged items in marketing for the word website. But let's clear all that, get back to reading all items. Now, a good feed reader will also have a button that you can click after you're done scanning the headlines that will mark everything red so that you don't have to go and click every single headline. Because you don't want to have to go through and do this to get everything marked red, right? You just come up here, click one icon, and everything is marked red. You may have noticed that Lobster has a three-paned layout. Folders and feeds over here on the left side, headlines here on the top right, and content on the bottom right. I've found that this is the most efficient layout for reading a lot of feeds. Some feed readers like Google Reader use a two-pane layout where the headlines and content are combined. Let me show you why it's slower. This is Google Reader. If you have it in expanded view, as you can see, you have to scroll past everything instead of being able to quickly skim and read just the things that you're interested in. And that list can get really long. In fact, there it is, getting longer and longer as more stuff gets loaded. If you use Google Reader, I recommend using the list view, which collapses everything down to the headlines. When you find something interesting, you click the headline to expand it. The two-pane view is nice because the entire right side of the screen is dedicated to the content when it's expanded, but let's say you get halfway through a really long item and decide you want to move on. You either have to collapse it, which fortunately you can do by pressing the O key on your keyboard, or scroll past it. The problems with the O key are, 1. If you're using your mouse to click and open items, you have to move your hand to your keyboard, and 2. When you expand and close a long item, the list ends up scrolled into a different position than when you started, which can be disorienting, especially since the same thing doesn't happen with short items. It may seem like a small thing, but when you're scanning lots of headlines, every little thing that slows the process down or requires more brain power eventually adds up to make something that could be easy feel much more cumbersome. While I'm here, one last problem with Google Reader is that you can't use it to read password-protected RSS feeds. That may not seem like a big deal, but here's why it is. The power of an RSS feed reader is that it lets you keep track of lots of websites in one place. If your feed reader can read password-protected feeds, that can include your Twitter stream, perhaps your help desk inbox, and other things you'd have to use another program to monitor otherwise. So you can see how using a feed reader can save you tons of time by enabling you to keep on top of large amounts of information quickly and easily. Now let's talk about how to use an RSS feed reader to become a Twitter power user. The obvious part of it is that with all the information you're able to quickly consume, you should be able to find lots of useful, interesting, and entertaining stuff to tweet about. A power tweeter is basically just somebody who shares lots of good stuff but doesn't overdo it or muddy it up with things that aren't interesting or useful. What's less obvious is that a really good RSS feed reader smashes one of the big barriers that keeps a lot of people from being power tweeters, the inconvenience barrier. Let me show you what I mean. A pretty good RSS feed reader will help you find lots of good stuff to tweet about, but to tweet it, you still have to copy and paste the URL, copy and paste the headline, or write your own note about it. Here, let's just do this to demonstrate. Let's see, we'll say copy link location. Then I'll come over here to Twitter and paste it in. I'll go back and we'll grab the headline. Actually, I think if I copy this, it'll copy the URL again, but let's give it a look. Oh, no, that worked. Well, anyway, and then you'd click tweeting. With a feed reader that's built for tweeting, it's much easier because you can tweet from within the reader and the tweet is already written for you. All you have to do is edit the tweet if you want to, type something else in, select which Twitter accounts you want to tweet through, click a button, and you'll be done. That may not seem like a lot less work than copying and pasting, but if you're like most people, it's enough of a difference to save you from human nature, which is to say, you'll do it later, or decide that maybe this tweet isn't quite important enough to bother with. I'll tweet when I find something absolutely maximally super duper instead of something that's just merely very interesting, and so on. All the little excuses we come up with, especially when we're tired or busy, to avoid doing something that's a little bit cumbersome. That's the video for today. I hope you enjoyed it and learned something useful. If you'd like to check out Lobster, you'll find it at www.geckotribe.com/RSS/lobster. Otherwise, the three RSS feed readers I recommend, although they won't do everything you've seen here, are FeedReader, which you can get at www.feedreader.com/download, Google Reader, which you'll find at reader.google.com, and if you're a Mac user, NetNewsWire, which you'll find at www.newsgator.com/RSS-readers.aspx. Thanks for watching.